Hey everybody, welcome back to It's Only Food with Chef John Politte. Today, we're going to be making cream of potato soup. Cue the music. Well, thanks a lot for watching. If this is your first time joining us, please hit that subscribe button right down there in the corner and then hit that bell to be notified each and every time I upload new content. Alright, well, you clicked on this video to watch me show you how to make cream of potato soup. So let's head into the kitchen and check out what our ingredients are. First of all, we're going to start out with 2 russet potatoes, a quarter stick of butter, and then we're going to use to sweat our vegetables and our potatoes. 10 ounces of ham, 1 onion, 2 ribs of celery, 2 carrots. And then we're going to have a quarter pound of butter, 1 cup of flour, chicken base, salt and pepper, 2 bay leaves, and about a half a tablespoon of fennel seeds that we are going to add to this to give it a very unique flavor. So let's head into the kitchen, start up our prep. One thing I did forget to mention is that I forgot to add a garlic clove into that list of ingredients, but we'll definitely get it on our prep list when we're in there cooking. So let's head into the kitchen, get our prep going. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cut up our potatoes. Now these are just russet potatoes that we had. I have scrubbed them off and they're all cleaned up, and I'm going to chop them into very small dice, because you're not going to really, these aren't going to keep their composition. Once they start cooking, they're going to turn into almost mashed potato consistency once we get going here. I am leaving the skins on to help thicken, so that's what we're looking for, a very nice dice. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the potatoes, put them in a bowl here, and then we'll start on our vegetable. Alright, then we got our onion. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to, this is going to be our mirepoix that we're going to use for the soup. I'm just going to dice this up, put it in the bowl. Then we'll have our carrots right here. I'm just going to take off the tops here. Cut them down the middle like thus, lengthwise. And then we're just going to dice these up as well and put it into the bowl with the carrot, or put it into the bowl with the onions. I'm going to leave a video card right here for a video I did on mirepoix, about what a mirepoix is, what it's used for, and you can feel free to go to that video to check it out. Here is our celery. We're going to do the same thing. Cut it in half, cut the halves lengthwise, and then we're going to dice this up as well and have that. And what we're going to do, well, I don't want to tell you, I'm going to show you in the next shot. No, let me just get these diced up, throw them in the bowl. Alright, on the ham, I think we saw this in a video I did on an omelet show. I pulled this out of the freezer. I did not realize at the time when I pulled it out that it was already sliced, so that kind of saves us a little bit of time. So I'm just going to take and slice this up into strips where I can dice it, and we're just going to dice that up as well and have this ready to go when we begin to sweat the vegetables. Alright, now as you can see, I dice these all about the same size because I want them to cook evenly at the same time. You can cook these you can cut these as large or small as you want. It depends on your time and what you want your end product to look like. But the prep's all done. I've got our ingredients all ready to go. So let's head over to our pot right there and we'll start cooking. Okay, I've got our quarter stick of butter in there. We are getting it to brown up a little bit. It's fully melted, so I'm going to throw the potatoes in first. We're going to get those starting to do that cooking process, get them a little caramelized and brown before we throw our vegetables in to sweat. I want to get a little color crust on some of these and get the cooking process going. I'm going to go ahead and throw our vegetables in there to start sweating those as well. We're just gonna let this cook down and get some color on it. I cover it all up with the butter though, so it all gets nice and brown. Throw a little salt and pepper in there as well. Alright, we're just going to let this cook and sweat before we add our next ingredient in there. Okay, the carrots and celery are starting to soften up. The onions are becoming a little translucent. I'm going to throw the ham in here now. We're just going to mix this all up. And as soon as this ham starts getting some color on it, we're going to add our liquid to it and let those potatoes cook. So I'm going to let this go. We'll be back. So I'm just going to let this go and let that ham get some color on it. Okay, we still haven't gotten to where I want it to be with the ham yet, but this is a good time to add our 2 bay leaves and about a half a tablespoon of some fennel. We'll just mix this up, let it continue to cook. Alright, well, we are starting to see a little bit of color on that ham now. And the mirepoix is starting to slightly get tender now, so I want to add, I took 2 tablespoons of the chicken base in the water. Oop, yeah, you still haven't dissolved it all, but that's okay because we're going to add more liquid to this. And I'm going to do equal parts water and milk. I forgot to add milk in the list of ingredients in the beginning of this show, but I will add it into the description box where our list of ingredients is at. We are just going to let this come to a boil. And as you can see right there, I have got our butter melting for our roux that we're going to use to thicken this soup up once we get it to a boil and the potatoes have softened. Now, you can cook your potatoes ahead of time and do all this and thicken everything and then add your potatoes at the last part of the process, but the cooking of the potatoes involved with the water boiling as well breaks them down, and as you stir, the potatoes break down and they help to actually thicken the soup and add flavor to it as well. Alright, well, our soup has come to a boil. I'm going to turn it down to a simmer. And what we want to do now is we want to watch our potatoes and our celery and carrots. We want these to become very soft. I have got our roux made. It's just a blonde roux that we're going to use to thicken this up. But what we want to do is we want to just make sure all these vegetables and potatoes in here get tender, because there's nothing worse than biting into a piece of something when you're trying to have a nice smooth potato soup. So we're going to let this simmer and we'll be back to finish it up. Okay, we've let this go for about 20 minutes. Now I'm stirring this with this whip, and you can actually feel if the ingredients are cooked and smooth and breaking down. When I stirred it earlier, you could still feel the chunks. Let's just call them chunks in there. But now I can feel them, but I know that they're broken down and they're starting to come apart. And we can show you this way as well. Here's a piece, here's a potato. There you go. It just falls apart. I could let, oh, that's good ham flavor in there too. I'm gonna could let this cook down a little even more and more and more until it just totally broke down, but I'm gonna go ahead and add our roux to this and let that roux start cooking in. Now I'm gonna switch over to the whip here to get all of that blended in. Now you want to remember that you could have taken and thrown your flour in with the butter that was in the pan and go about with the Singer method to thicken this soup up, but your potatoes would not have been cooked. So part of the reason we did the roux last is to let those potatoes cook and to blend in with all the other ingredients. But this is looking good. It's thickening up. I can feel the tension on the whip. So we're just going to let this cook and let that roux keep thickening. And then I'm going to plate this up, take some awesome photos of it for social media. We're going to lay those pictures in the timeline with some groovy music. And then we're going to come back and we're going to taste this. So enjoy the music and the pictures. is. That is the cream of potato soup with ham in there. I am going to set up the lights and get this tripod over there, and we will come back with a nice tasting shot. Yep, this is very rich, very creamy. Alright, well there is the steaming hot soup. Let's get a nice shot of this. So there is a nice close-up shot of that. This is hotter than heck. Now I'm going to let this cool down a little bit. But I do want to point out some things about this soup. This is just kind of a starter base for all the different ways you can go with this. You can add sour cream to this. You can add cheese, different kinds of cheeses to this. You can add curry to it and take it the whole Indian Thai food way you want to go with the different flavor profiles. There's all kinds of ways to go with this. This is just a basic potato soup recipe. I did add ham to it to kind of give it a little bit more flair and a little bit more of a flavor profile. But this is just simply a starter. You can add corn to this, make it corn chowder. You can add clams to this, make it into a clam chowder as well. I just wanted to show a basic recipe for potato soup. So I'm going to get another shot of this. So there is the bite. Now here I go. I'm going to burn my mouth. Bear with me. And that ham gives it a real smoky flavor. You can taste the potato, taste the sugar coming out of the vegetables when we sweated them. And of course that creaminess from the milk in there. Nothing better would have probably thrown some green onions in here to give a little bit of a crunch on top, and maybe some cheese. But like I said, this is just a basic recipe for potato soup. Very good, very good. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me set this down. Do yourself a favor and head down to that description box below and check out all the neat things I've got down there. Stalk me on my social media profiles that are down there. Go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and leave a comment. Subscribe if you have not done so already. And make sure you share this video and this channel with everybody you know. Thanks a lot for watching. We make cream of potato soup. We'll see you next time right here on It's Only Food. Bye-bye.